Hey, this is Will Knight. We're back with our podcast, All About Nothing. And today we are in Michigan, and we're at
DeBlonde Vineyards and Winery. My name is Lucas Waters. I'm the wine club manager, head sommelier here at DeBlonde Vineyards and Winery. Thank you for inviting me onto your show.
No problem. So tell me about this winery. Tell me about your history of winery and what you do here.
The winery here itself it was constructed here as the buildings that were in the tasting room in 2014. We opened up in 2015, so our 10-year anniversary is going to be happening on May 31st, which is Saturday, tomorrow. We're pretty excited about that. We've been here a little bit before that. We just didn't have a tasting room erected. We had vines in the ground. Our first vintages were 2011. I'm our head sommelier here. Sorry.
That's okay. So we're here with 5 other people, and we're going to do a wine tasting. So what are some of the wines that you recommend?
Well, we specialize in dry wines here, specifically dry reds based off of the geographical location on the map and our topography. We have obviously dry whites is what Michigan's ultimately known for. Some sweet wines in the very bottom. Now, our reds and whites that we do have, our varietals that we do have, since we're all estate grown, all means all of our berries are grown here on the property. We don't buy any outside fruit. We don't have any outside help. Everything's produced in-house here. Typically speaking, dries. Now, we have old world varietals. We have some hybrids, American hybrids. Old world varietals would be your native French, German, Spanish, Italian varietals.
Okay.
It's definitely an industry that or business approach that it's unique to us in our area. A lot of wines in this area are sweet, and there's nothing wrong with sweet wine. It was actually in the 80s and 90s, it was not uncommon to see people going out to eat and having a steak with their sweet red wine.
Right.
And it wasn't until we started sugar shaming as a whole in the United States that we cut out sweet wines from our menu. And really, if you go out to eat, you won't really find any sweet wines. It's hard to find.
I still have red wine with my steak.
Nice.
But now I do whiskey more, but I still have some red wine with my steak. My other question to you is there such thing as pairing?
Pairing?
Yes.
What do you mean? As in pairing as in like with food, or what do you
Yes, pairing as in food.
Absolutely. Food and wine go together so well, and it goes together based off of just the acid and the flavors that are within the wine, but also too salt, fat, all of those factors have to be considered. And really, just like anything else, you have something separately by itself, it's amazing, right? You have wine by itself, it's amazing, but you put the two together, right? And it's just this totally new, inviting flavor explosion in your mouth. Sometimes, though, you run into combinations that aren't as appealing as others. And so that's one of those numbers where it's just finding your palate and what you like. But there is an actual science behind it.
Okay. So we come from Michigan. I'm sorry, you're from Michigan. I'm from Chicago. Mm-hmm. And I brought a friend of mine here from Spain. And you're explaining some of the wines from Spain versus some of the wines that you have that you like. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. So I studied world wine, and I'm trying to apply it to here in Michigan. It's similar but different and very difficult too. A lot of people come in not knowing and not educated on what flavors are going on and why the flavors are even in existence in the first place, and meaning that why isn't our Cabernet Sauvignon tasting like the ones they have in Napa? Why isn't we got back from Italy and your Pinot Grigio doesn't taste anything like this in Italy? Well, because we're not in Italy, we're not in California,
right.
And we don't have the growing season that they do. And so, with that said, if we did have the growing season, then it would be more or less the same or similar desired mouthfeel and desired flavor that they are trying to achieve. So think of it like fruit hanging on a tree, right?
Yeah.
The longer the fruit hangs, the more sweet it gets, right? And it turns rotten and falls off.
Yeah.
Well, if it's picked early or if it's a colder year, what happens? You get green bananas, right?
Right.
And so with that said, think of it like that. In Spain, in Portugal, in Napa, it's in classification, it has Mediterranean climate.
Yeah.
And we have continental climate, so more inland. With that said, the fruit's going to hang longer. It's going to be sweeter. It's going to be a more of a bigger mouthfeel to it than nature what we have over here.
Okay.
Now, and so don't come into Michigan wine thinking that you're going to have this California flavor explosion or Portuguese flavor explosion or South African or Australian.
Right.
Because we have Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan, it's a good take on what Michigan can provide for these non-native varietals.
You get a lot of customers from Chicago and Indiana, around the Midwestern states that come here. What is, like, as a sommelier, how did you go to school, and how do you apply that to your customers coming in, on a weekend?
In terms of can you elaborate a little bit more? Yeah.
So, how did you go to school? What involved being a sommelier?
So I went to American Wine School in Chicago. They have a program set up through WSET, WSET, and what that is the one of the organizations that kind of educates and approves people after you take tests and what exam out through that for wine education and just overall management of wine, being a sommelier. There are other organizations out there that do as well. I went through more of the less service side of it and more of the educational and informational piece of it. Studying world wine, and I apply that information to everyday work between people coming in here. All right, you came in here today and with general interest in wine, right?
Exactly.
And so now this educational piece, I'm
going to have a sip right now too.
You need to, yes. What are you drinking?
I'm having a Malbec.
Nice. I love the Malbec here. So yeah, we grow Malbec. And I think the big part of it is like, hey, people buy Malbec at the store. They're buying Argentinian Malbec usually, 9 times out of 10. I mean, you could go buy French Malbec.
Yeah.
You can buy it, but you got to search for it. If you go to the store and it's the local convenience and you want to get your whatever Malbec on the shelf, it's 95% of the time it's going to be a Argentinian Malbec. So going back to what we were talking about earlier, our wines are never going to taste like that because we're in Argentina. With that said, ours is more accurate to the French Cahors, where it's originally thought to be originated from.
Okay.
That one is going to be lighter body, fuller flavor, but not going to have that chewiness, sugariness that you would have on your Argentinian wines.
Okay.
I think watching the light bulb go off in people's heads is what I get the most out of. I used to work in production as a winemaker with a couple of different wineries, and I tell people, I don't get to talk to one person back there.
Right.
So when I get to see you people come into the winery, and then I'm able to educate and talk, and see a smile on your face, and once that light bulb go off, that means the most to me. And
this wine is good.
Bringing the education to the people, letting people know what they're drinking, where it comes from, why it is. Why is the wine dark? Why is the wine fuller flavor? Why is the wine acidic? Why is it bitter? Why is this? Why is it? Having those questions answered and having someone leave with that information that's where it's at.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this up, and I just want to give you a plug. What's the hours here? What's the city we're in?
So we're in Baroda, Michigan. This is the Blind Vineyards and Winery. We're open 363 days a year. Let's see here. Typically speaking, it's going to be noon to 6 throughout the week. Friday and Saturday, 11 to 7.
And what are you doing tomorrow for your anniversary?
So we're having a pretty large event here. We have some live music coming out 12 to 5 p.m. We have food trucks. We're going to have some 10-year anniversary deals.
Okay.
And then also some support for our wine club.
Okay.
In terms of having them show out and collect on some things as well.
All right. So I have 2 more questions before we end this.
Yes.
What is a piece of advice that you could give to someone who has never tried wine or have experienced a winery?
I would say start slow. Start slow. I would say really, we should all be doing research into what we're putting into our bodies, right?
Okay.
Before we put things into it. So I think if you want to really delve into the wine scene and you'd be more familiar about it, do a little education, a little research on it.
Okay.
I think doing research and educating yourself about anything is the best way to really learn and just go about living your life.
Okay.
I think there's a wine out there for everybody. You just don't know it yet if you don't like wine.
Good. And then my last question is, what's one piece of advice that your mother, father, grandparent obviously gave you to carry you on in this lifetime?
It's your life. Do what you want to do.
There you go.
Whose life are you living? Are you living your life or are you living somebody else's life?
There you go. So that's it for the All About Nothing podcast. This is Will Knight, and I'm going to go sample some wines.
Thank you so much for having me today.
All right.